I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're hopping into a wonderful book. It is called Detective, A Rabbit's Tale. It is a unique and imaginative story by Nathanael Arthur that fuses childhood creativity with thrilling mystery. Inspired by a lifelong passion for storytelling, this book takes readers into a world where animals become detectives and stories are shaped with cinematic flair. If you're into detective stories with a twist, character-driven adventures, and heartfelt creativity, this tale is one you won't want to miss. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Nathaniel, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
How did you come up with the idea of a rabbit as a detective?
Well, you hear a lot of stories growing up about the rabbit and the hare chasing, and at first I was gonna make the main character as the hare because at first he starts off slow trying to solve the murders. But then I decided to make him the rabbit because even though it took him a minute to solve what he was looking for, he was still always one step ahead.
Hmm. Yep. A little bit faster than everybody else, without a
Yeah.
doubt. That's great. That's great. Who is your target audience for this book?
My target audiences are for mature and us, because there is a lot of profanity words and stuff like that, and stuff that's too graphic for kids. But in the future, I do also have books that will be made for kids as well.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Have you envisioned this as a movie or a TV series or something?
I haven't, but one of my bucket lists is to get one of my books into a movie.
Hmm.
That is one of my goals.
Well, that'd be great. Well, you've done the hard part. You've created the work, you've created the story, you've created the book. It's out there now, so hopefully it winds up into somebody's hands and they're like want to turn it into a film. We'll see what happens. That would be terrific. Animal characters are so powerful in fiction. Why did you decide to utilize animals in this manner?
Well, if you think about it, over the years with police and detectives, they're always working with animals.
Mhm.
And I thought, maybe instead of writing a book where the animal is present, I wrote the book where the animal is within the person.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Talk to us about this quote. To lead, one must first follow. Tell us about that.
Well, when you watch a lot of movies or shows or you read a lot of books, you see people always starting off as the leader and stuff like that. Me, I don't want to start my character or my story off as they're the leader. I want to lead from the story's perspective. So to become that leader that you need to be, you need to first learn how to follow those steps to be that leader. You have to follow your followers to become the leader that you need to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's give the folks at home an overview of the story. Tell them a little bit of what it's about.
So it is about a detective, Grant Wilson, who partners with his partner, Bartholomew, who come across a murder. They were called in, and when they were investigating this murder, they came across that there was a possible connection to 268 other murders that happened decades before that one. And throughout the story, as they're solving it, Grant learns that the killer that he is trying to find has always been right next to him the entire time.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. It's an amazing twist. It's an amazing story. Um, why animals did you decide to use animals instead of humans? Why couldn't it be a human detective, that kind of thing?
Well, I use animals because, like I said before, you always see them. You always see them working with police dogs and
That's
canine
true.
units and stuff like that. So I wanted to tell the story as if the animal was inside of that person. as
Hmm.
if that person could unleash that animal outside of them to help them and guide their way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me what it was like writing this book. How long did it take you?
Well, where I wasn't working at the time when I first wrote this book, so I had about 3 months to myself, and I kind of just once I started typing, I couldn't stop. I kept going and going and going, and there was nights where I didn't sleep at all because I just could not put the keyboard down. I just had to keep writing and writing and writing. So
What?
eventually, I got that book done within, I want to say the first month and a half, but I also had to go back and edit and revise it.
Mhm. Yep, amazing process. Once you get doing it, it really kind of just flows and it's kind of addictive and you just start pounding out all the words and it's a great process and a lot of fun as well. Is this your first book? Are you planning on more books? Tell us a little bit about your writing career.
Um, I actually have more written out. I'm taking it one book at a time because I don't want to rush myself.
Mhm.
Um, so I do have five more books written out, and one of them is a part two to this one that I have published.
Wonderful, wonderful. So there'll be a sequel to this book?
Yes, there will. It will follow Detective Grant's son.
Amazing, amazing. Is there a message you want the readers to take away from the book?
The message that I want readers to know when they read my books is that as long as you put your mind to it and your heart to it and you don't give up, you can write a story out of anything. You can pick up a pencil off the table and you can write a story about where that pencil came from. When writing a story and you keep your mind to it, you'll be surprised on how many ideas you could come up with just from that story.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. It's all using the imagination. You can bring anything to life, like you said. Even the most mundane object can be turned into a story with the right imagination. And tell us a little bit about your inspirations. Are you inspired by TV shows, movies, other books?
Well, what inspired me to write these stories was not movies or books or shows. When I was a kid, I used to take my action figures and I would direct them into movies. I knew what figures to use. I knew what they would say, who would say it, what scene they would say it. And so a lot of these books that I have written are not, exactly 100% what I did when I was a kid, but they are the same stories that I created when I was a kid.
Cool. So you've taken your playtime passion and turned it into a fiction, work of fiction. What were some of the action figures you had back in the day?
I had all types. I had Star Wars, Halo, Walking Dead figures. And I would just take them, like, even with the Star Wars figures, for example, I would take them and play them in anything. I would use them as detectives. I would play them as Star Wars. The figures to me didn't matter what they were. I always created stories out of them.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Who was the person you gave this book to when you were first done with it and said, "Hey, read this. What do you think?"
When I was first done with it, I gave it to my mom.
Okay.
She was she was the one the whole time that I was writing my book. She was the one that kept pushing me to complete it.
Okay. And what was her reaction when she read it?
She loved it. She was actually the person that also pushed me to get it published and to get where I'm at now.
Wonderful, wonderful. So she's in your corner. She's rooting you on in your writing career. I think that's just terrific. Was it fun? Did you have a good time making this?
Oh yeah, well, it was. I actually now, like I think about it, when I was writing that book, I was watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit. So that was like my day. I was watching Law and Order and writing a detective book.
There you go. So a little inspiration, perhaps from the action figures, of course, but also maybe from SUV. That sounds great.
Hmm.
Or SVU, I think it is, not SVUV. Awesome. Well, that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed writing the book. We enjoyed reading the book. It is terrific, folks. It's called Detective: A Rabbit's Tale. It is a unique and imaginative story that fuses childhood creativity with thrilling mystery. Inspired by a lifelong passion for storytelling, this book takes readers into a world where animals become detectives and stories are shaped with cinematic flair. If you're into detective stories with a twist, character-driven adventures, and creativity that is just heartfelt, this is one book you won't want to miss. The links are below this interview. Nathanael, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I appreciate your insight and your wisdom. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time, until next time on Spotlight.